Hey there, I'm here. Hey David, thanks for joining us. We have a couple people already here waiting for me. Hello and welcome. Happy Thursday. I am Mary from Mary's Heirloom Seeds, and I try to go live here every Thursday at 5 p.m. Central. I missed my live chat last week. I really did miss it, but I wasn't here either. So I definitely wanted to go live today. I do ask, especially today, that you have patience with me. I am at hopefully what is the tail end of a migraine. So I will try to give you awesome information and, of course, keep it short and sweet. So today's topic, as the title suggests, is Hey, Misfits Mountain Farm, welcome. So today's topic is growing in uncertain times, but I'm going to add something to that, and it's going to be growing food in uncertain times and saving money growing from seeds. So this is kind of a jumble of topics. Every week I try to share information specifically that customers have asked me about during the week that I thought would be an awesome topic. Hey, Nicole, thank you. I appreciate it. So let's start with a couple of the questions. It's also kind of windy out here, so I couldn't set up my tripod, and I apologize if the shaking gives you a headache or a migraine. Hey, Jody, thanks for joining me. So first is a question I had from a customer that is kind of off topic of the title of this, and that is about our soil amendments 4-pack. That is currently out of stock as of today, but will be back in stock as of tonight. Hey, thank you all for joining me. So this customer specifically asked in the comments here of this video about our, sorry, I'm losing my stuff here. Welcome. Thank you. It's Thursday and I'm all over the place. So our soil amendments 4-pack includes alfalfa meal, azomite, a general plant food, and oyster shell. So all of that information is available on my website at marysheirloomseeds.com. In the description section of this video, you will find a link. But I did want to share a little bit of the basics because that was a question. First, alfalfa meal. That is, not only is it a pleasant smelling fertilizer, it adds organic matter to your soil. And it is also a valuable plant-derived fertilizer, and it's also great to boost your compost as well. Then we have the azomite, that is trace minerals. So just like your bodies need micro and macronutrients, your plants do as well. So the azomite is trace minerals, very important for healthy plants. Then you have the regular plant food with an NPK of 462, so it's not a super high nitrogen or high any fertilizer. It's just a good all-in-one. And then lastly is oyster shell. Oyster shell is a calcium, and plant cell walls need calcium. So if you want strong, healthy plants, calcium is a definite bonus, but also it can help. It's not going to cure blossom end rot. Sometimes it's referred to as BER in all caps, blossom end rot. But it is a possible preventative for blossom end rot. So that's what the calcium does. Okay, so let's get to the topic of our video today, and that is growing in uncertain times. Hey, KK, thanks for joining us. Everybody, thank you for joining me. Growing in uncertain times. So I posted something to our social media pages the other day, and it is that you don't need fancy raised beds. You don't need any fancy growing setups to grow awesome food, to grow an awesome garden. David says I'm using alfalfa pellets for nitrogen. What can I use for phosphorus? Let me get back to you on that one. I'm sorry. I really apologize. My brain is a little fried right now. We talked about NPK in a live Facebook chat, and I explained what those were, but again, you have to forgive me. I'm a little wobber job today in the brain. I will answer that question after my live chat. There are some that have a higher P rating, NPK, nitrogen, phosphorus, Potassium. That always throws me off. So our regular plant food is a 462, so that might actually help you if you're looking specifically for a phosphorus. All right. Why do people look at their garden and go, this isn't going to do, this is just not pretty? I think a lot of that is maybe the social media aspect. It's kind of funny because I'm mentioning that and I posted it specifically to social media. I am more of a utilitarian gardener. I like functional gardens, and it doesn't necessarily have to be pretty. So I'm going to show you something back here. Way back there. That is a raised bed that I made out of tree limbs that I found on our property. And back here, that is just mounded up compost that I used for garlic beds. Now, here, I'm super excited. We just passed our frost dates. So I just planted seeds in these like literally yesterday. So I'm not expecting magic overnight. I have to have patience and I have to let them grow. Now, why did I choose raised beds, even though I'm telling you, you don't have to have anything fancy, even raised beds to grow? This spot in particular, I have multiple garden spots. This spot in particular floods heavily. We have lots of rain that comes through here, which is amazing. Something I was not used to, still not used to, but I'm enjoying it. So water literally flows from one end of this garden to the other right through the area that I'm sitting. I'm sitting on this raised bed right now. So I chose to put raised beds in this area because that's what works for me. In the past, so happy you're teaching soil feed because folks don't always realize that plants take up nutrients from soil. Yes. So the other thing is, if you've never seen any of my videos, I do have a lot of videos on how to feed your soil without having to buy expensive stuff, like manure you can use if you have it locally. I just talked to a rancher, totally off topic, but totally on topic, but different from what we were chatting about 2 seconds ago, literally. I talked to a local rancher and he offered me his cow manure, which I was thrilled, excited, over the moon about because he has a lot of cows. But then he mentioned that he sprays parts of his property. And so I politely declined accepting his manure. But he also mentioned to me when we started talking about what the damage of that of those sprays, the damage that chemical does to the water, to possibly, I'm not even going to get into the whole cow part of it, but it's not something I can use now. It's now a byproduct that is unusable for me as an organic gardener. And we grow what we call beyond organic. So I don't use even some of the organic inputs I don't use because I just think that there are more natural growing with nature options. So after we talked about that, he said he may stop spraying his fields, which would be awesome because one less person using chemicals, whether it's responsibly or irresponsibly, one less person using chemicals is awesome in my book. And then maybe after his fields are repaired, way down the line, we might be able to work something out using his manure. So talk about feeding the soil, but that also is about growing food without having to buy a lot of expensive stuff. So if you can create your own nutrients for your soil to put back into your soil, you will be miles ahead. So let's go back to growing in uncertain times. It doesn't even have to be something specific. So there's a lot going on in the world, and I won't really get into all of that. There are, I'll address that later. I have a lot of information on manures that you can use in your garden. So those are videos, you can definitely check it out. It could be something less than global catastrophes or whatever is going on in the world right now. I'm really not going to go into specifics because that kind of stuff stresses people out more than it does, more than it should, or whatever. Everybody reacts to things differently. So we're going to focus more on the garden. It could be as simple as, you lose some time off of work, or you have a sick child, so maybe you lose a little time off of work for that. Maybe you are going through a move and the garden is your therapy. It could be something like that as far as uncertain times. But I do have a lot of videos on growing on a budget, and that is one of the best. So this year, I've mentioned a couple times that my focus is going to be on food preservation in my garden. So there are, you could call them preppers, homesteaders, survivalists. I mean, there's a different label for everybody. The sun is hurting my eyeballs right now. Forgive me, I'm gonna stand up and I'm gonna move over a little bit. Sorry, if you missed the beginning of my video, I am at the tail end of a migraine. So I didn't want to miss my video again this week. So I'm live, just kind of bear with me here. Thank you very much. Whatever you decide to grow a garden, and for whatever reason, there are so many awesome reasons to grow a garden and awesome ways to grow a garden that you don't have to spend a lot of money. Speaking of the raised beds and uncertain times, last year the lumber prices were insane, and in some places they've gotten better, in some places they've gotten worse. Maybe it's the rising cost of gas, and maybe you want to offset some of your expenses because you have to drive to work. Maybe you have to drive to work, and maybe growing a small food plot would help lessen the damage, the impact to your budget. So there's a lot of different reasons to grow food, and it doesn't necessarily have to be just one thing. And that's why I have focused on growing on a budget in quite a few of my videos in the past. You will find them on my YouTube channel. In the description section of this video, you will also find our comprehensive planting guide. I probably get asked questions that can be found in our comprehensive planting guide every day, and I do try to answer your questions as much, but either way, it works. So there's a lot of different reasons that you can, that we grow, a lot of great reasons to grow. And growing in uncertain times is a great opportunity. It's a great opportunity to learn, to meet new people, to have some garden therapy, some soil therapy. I know there are studies that show that the microbes in the soil can help with depression. So all of these different things. I know that I feel so much better after I play in the soil, so that's definitely a plus. I like to come out to my garden and hang out and do cool stuff, plant cool seeds. Hey, C, thank you. I answered your questions earlier in the video, so you'll have to go back and watch them a little later on. David said here in Maryland, lumber went down and now back up. Cheapest now is landscape timber for raised beds and some logs and trees cleared from their property. We were fortunate, a friend of mine who lives close by, she found someone who had their own mill, and we were able to get a lot of these beds for a lot less expensive. So someone did ask me, how much were your raised beds for just the wood? I included the cost of the screws as well, and I believe it came out to $63. That is more than I believe that it cost me before, but less than I had expected that it would cost. So again, you don't have to. I created an entire bucket garden video, but I also did a new bucket garden article. It's a how-to on my website. Why did I do that when I already have so much information? Well, I have a friend who moved a little closer to us now. She's in Fort Worth and she's renting. So she wants to grow a bucket garden. So I gave her a giant list of different varieties that she can grow. And her uncertain times is moving to a new place and getting a job and figuring your way through your area and your community. So that is an uncertain time. I know we moved here in June of last year, and the first thing I did was I needed to start a garden because it was just so awesome. It's a great way for me to kind of unwind, right? All right, so the next topic, the last topic, is saving money growing from seeds. Now, I'm going to share the specific information. I did have to type it out so that I had the information. David says, I'm growing in raised beds on pallets and tables. Just grow everywhere. Okay, now I might have to go back again. So this is a message I received from one of our customers. She's awesome. She sends me lots of information, and so she said, uh, so she said that she went to the local, I guess, like a hardware store, like a big box hardware store, and she said she found a 6-pack of lettuce, and it was $16. Now, I don't know if that was a pallet, like a big tray of it, or it was a 6-pack. So they make them in 6-packs, and then they make like a pallet with like 4 6-packs. And she said it was $16. Now, it was butter crunch lettuce. So, do you know how much we sell butter crunch lettuce for? I think it's like $2 a pack right now. And we just updated so that our butter crunch lettuce is actually 200 pack. Sorry, I'm moving again. We just updated our butter crunch lettuce, and it's 200 seeds per pack. That's crazy. Can you imagine how many plants, or how much it would cost you if you bought the plants at a store versus growing them from seed? $2 for 200 seed packs versus $16 for a 6-pack. That's a huge difference. I'm not even going to do the math. My brain already hurts. But you can do the math. I have a video on our YouTube channel also, and that was comparing store-bought conventional produce to organic produce. And there was definitely a financial difference, but then also adding to it how much a pack of seeds versus what you could grow. And I do have that article already on my website. And it's just about saving money, growing fall crops and saving. So for example, I think a head of butter crunch lettuce is like $3 in the grocery store. Okay, so that's one head of lettuce for $3. And I don't even know if that's organic, versus one pack of seeds for $2 with 200 seeds. So you can save a fortune by growing from seed. Now, obviously, in the summertime, you may not be able to grow that butterhead lettuce. That butterhead lettuce may bolt before you actually get some decent lettuce from it. So growing what you can during season and eating what you can during season is also a plus. So maybe you wouldn't be eating lettuce during the summertime, but maybe you would be eating Swiss chard, because Swiss chard is heat tolerant. Absolutely. I've grown it in Texas in the summertime. I've grown it in South Florida and Southern California in the summertime, and it produced. So if you think about that, you can have 100, my brain's fried. You can have 100 seeds of Swiss chard, I think for like $2 or $2.50 on our website at marysheirloomseeds.com. And Swiss chard continues to produce for months and months. If you live in a moderate climate, you can actually grow it for over a year. You just harvest the outer leaves and continue to produce. So that is fantastic. You said you are going to do a lot of canning this year. We are focusing on food preservation this year. So we have a heirloom bean soup seed combo pack. That is a mouthful. I don't even know if that's exactly what it's called, but I did talk about it, I think 2 weeks ago, and that's going to go in one of these beds. And we're going to grow our own dry beans so we can save them. You can do the same thing with black-eyed peas, purple hull pink-eyed peas, which is my absolute favorite. So those are some ways that you can grow some stuff. One of my more recent videos was food storage prepping in the garden, and it was dried beans. So like I said, we are focusing on a lot of the food preservation. Now, here's the fun one. And like I said, I just planted seeds yesterday, and this is what I planted. One of my customers, he asked me, what is the difference in production in yields in the blue leg bush bean versus the jade bush bean? So those are two fantastic green beans. Now, the blue leg bush bean is a #1 seller at Mary's Heirloom Seeds. And I'm not even talking about just in beans. I think if I checked my numbers, it is the number one seller at Mary's Heirloom Seeds. Blue Lake Bush Bean. It's a fantastic one. My customers in Florida, California, Colorado, Texas have raved about it. But Jade Bush Bean is my favorite bean. So I'm going a little rebel gardener here, and I love the Jade Bush Bean. I actually use that as a staple in my dilly beans, which is, if you haven't seen the recipe, it's an awesome recipe. So what I'm doing this year is I've created my own personal challenge. Besides the food storage, we are going to. Awesome! Thank you guys for your feedback. So I have got a bed over here, and I have 8 rows, and it's a 4x8. And so 3 rows on one side are Jade Bush Beans. 3 rows on the other side are Blue Lake Bush Beans, and 2 rows in the middle, just to kind of give it a little bit of a divider, is the Purple Hull Pink Eye Cowpea. So this is going to be my tester this year. I will hopefully have fantastic results with both, but I will be able to share with you my numbers in what produced better. I'm also going to add to it what produced healthier plants, and then also, of course, log the actual physical amount of beans, so by the pound. David says, I'm looking forward to burnt beans, dragon beans, dragon tongue, and rattlesnake beans. Awesome. So those are my tips for today. Today, as I mentioned earlier in the video, we're growing in uncertain times, but we're also growing from seed and saving money. So all of these great things that you can do, things that I mentioned in the video today, are fantastic. If you do have any questions, you can always send me an email. Oh, you just got the Mbumbo beans. Those are so cool. They are an actual bean that is green. So not like a green bean, like a Blue Lake Bush Bean, but actual green seed. I wonder how long I could grow Swiss chard in South Central PA. So literally, if you planted seeds outside after your last frost, they germinate in anywhere from 3 to 10 days, maybe 14, depending on the warmth of your soil. So I'm looking at some over here, and I planted seeds and then it froze. It was 24 degrees 2 days after I planted these seeds. So I kind of was thinking that maybe I might have killed everything that I planted, but I kept watering it, and I just figured, it's an experiment. I've never lived in an area that snowed. This is my first snow, and we had it. It didn't stay for very long, but it did snow. And I have lots of seedlings popping up in this bed. So I don't think the frost or the snow killed it. It was 24 degrees, like I said. So very cold. And then, so once it germinates, you're ready to harvest in 50 to 60 days. And Swiss chard will tolerate a little bit of frost, but not a hard freeze and not really snow if it's uncovered. You can actually cover that bed with a row crops or row cover. Thank you. Sorry, my brain's fried. I mentioned earlier. So if you covered it with a row cover, you could give it a little bit of a frost break, I guess you might call it. I don't know exactly what the technical term is, but you might actually be able to grow it for a little longer. So really, it just depends on your growing season. I am going to add some row covers this year and hopefully extend my harvest for a couple more months. We're only about, I think we have 222 or 220 frost-free days here. So we have lots of time to grow. Anyway, that's it for me today. Today we discussed growing in uncertain times and also growing from seed and saving some money. These beautiful garlic over here, I cannot wait to harvest that garlic. I was able to teach some more people about garlic this week, and onions. They looked at my onion seeds and they're like, but I thought onions grew like in a ball. But I think they were used to buying the bulbs and planting those. And I said, well, no, the original onion is from a seed, and it's cheaper that way. You can get, like 100 seeds versus a couple bulbs for less. By buying seeds. It just takes a little longer. So if you have a little more patience and a little more, I don't know, be adventurous. Grow something different. Um, grow it a different way even. So all of these things are just kind of things we learn in the garden. So I'm going to sign off. I'm going to go drink some water and just kind of chill and relax and hopefully kick this thing. All right, guys, I'm Mary at Mary's Heirloom Seeds. I am signing off for the evening, and I still have lots of seed orders to get shipped out today. If you've got any questions, I would appreciate you giving me an email. My email is mary@marysheirloomseeds.com. You can find out lots of information on our website. In the description section of this video, you will find link to our website as well as our comprehensive planting guide and the email sign up if you're interested in receiving our emails. That's it for me. Hope you enjoyed my video and happy planting, everybody. It's spring.